I think for sure there were some mistakes. I think they were most of all the route setters' mistakes. But in terms of organization, I think it was organized amazingly well. It was a good show. It was an amazing venue. There was a lot of media interest, and yeah, I think it at least matched the last World Championships in Paris in 2016. I think there were some of the very curious mistakes from the route setting. It was in the qualification where they put the banners, and it was also like they even placed the volume in the wrong place, and the first 5 starters in the qualification had to climb again, which I have never really seen on any competition that something like that would happen.
I'm a judge and I know it.
Yes. I think for sure it's getting more and more difficult for the route setters as they have the pressure from the IFSC that the IFSC really want to see the top in the finals, while at the same time I don't think really it's a good show if there are more tops in the finals and then the time gets the decisive factor. I think once the route setters will have more time to route set and they will be even in a bigger team, then it could be solution.
You know how many were?
I think if they were mostly 3.
3 is not enough probably for all the...
I think they need lots of testers,
yeah,
because
to be sure.
I think both for bouldering, let's say one of the reasons why the route setters prefer this like kind of coordination and parkour style is that it is really difficult for them to feel the difficulty once the moves are, let's say, more conservative and hard and more about the power rather than coordination. I mean, the bouldering for the combined was relatively easy, so I didn't really get tired, so I still felt pretty fresh for the lead. Where I gave it everything, so I was quite tired after all, but it was mostly because of climbing really well in the lead. But in general, I was mildly surprised that the audience seemed to like it, but at the same time you have to emphasize that it was in Innsbruck and all of the people in the audience are especially interested in climbing, so still gives me a spark of hope that all of this format will not be disaster in terms of like audience interest, and it could be a good show, even though the whole format is just, especially for the TV, just way too long, because the whole event takes around 3 hours, and that in my point of view is just way too much. I think in terms of injuries, the new age style, which involves so much more like palming, it's very shoulder intensive. People seem to think that as we don't really see that many small holes in the competitions, it's in general safer. I strongly disagree. It's just safer for the fingers, but it's more dangerous for every other part of the body. And I think there should be just a mixture of styles, especially if it's such an important competition as the World Championships. Like if it's a lead finals, it should be most of all like complex climbing with every possible hold, which will test like different skills from a climber, and the same should be applied for bouldering. Unfortunately, especially for the bouldering, I think the sets of boulder problems just really tested just 1 or 2 styles of climbing, and it was coordination dynos and slabs. There was nothing else really much. It's not like I'm complaining about, but and I know that the times of the more conservative setting will not really come back, but I think the biggest question, which I don't really know the answer, is what is really the most interesting for the people? Is it necessarily just these coordination dynos? I think if it's only about coordination dynos, it just gets boring after a while, but that's only my opinion. I think you should ask not only the climbing viewers, but also the non-climbing viewers.